I made like 100 today, but was hungry and looking real bummy today. You was bony and looking too funny today. I don't care, niggas still make change. Let's go. That's all I fucking hear, cause I got.
What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to another episode of the Chatting with Cheese podcast. And I'm your host, Fat Cheeze. Before we get started, don't forget to like and share the content and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, do not forget to follow me on all social media platforms. They'll be put at the beginning. They was put at the beginning of the video, and also they'll be attached to the video. Now, I'm back. And I know I missed a little bit of stuff. I didn't get a chance to go over that Western Conference Finals, Minnesota and the Mavs. So I'm going to touch on that a little bit. But we also got some other stuff. It was a little delayed, but I'm back to get to it. So let's go ahead and dive right in. And before anybody say something, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. So this where the hat come from. I don't want nobody to think, oh, he team hopping or doing any of that. None of that's going on. I'm a Cowboy fan. Mavericks won, so I'm like, let's. And also I got a Cowboys topic in here today, so we gonna go ahead. That's why I said let me just go ahead and throw on the Dallas hat. So let's get right into it. So to begin, I already know I didn't get a chance to go over the Mavs and Wolves, the Western Conference Finals, the way I wanted to those last couple of games. So I'm gonna touch on that just a little bit, not too much, and then we'll move on. So everybody already know the last game, the Mavs dominated the Wolves. It was a lot to a little bit, 124 to 103. Luka came out aggressive. Kyrie took over from that second quarter lead, especially going into that second half. Dallas just did a great job. They came in and let their dominance be felt from Jump Street. Luka had 22 in the first quarter. You got 12 points from P.J. Washington. Gafford gave you 11. Lively gave you 9 points. He showed how much of a big difference he was not playing in Game 4. And he came in and made his presence felt. He went 16 for 16. He had a 16 for 16 field goal percentage in the Western Conference Finals. That's the most field goal attempts without a miss in playoff history. So Lively set a record, and they just dominated the game. I think Dallas was honestly mad that they even had to go back to Minnesota for a Game 5 when they felt it should have been a sweep. They should have ended it in Dallas. And Minnesota they didn't, they came out. You got 28 from Ant, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 10 to 18 from the field, 4-6 from 3. Cat gave you 28 points, 12 rebounds, 9 to 20 from the field, 1 to 6 from the 3. Gobert gave you 9 points, 5 rebounds. McDaniels gave you 8 points, 1 rebound. Conley gave you 7 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. You didn't get nothing from Naz Reid. He gave you 5 points, and Kyle Anderson gave you 7. But I wanted to say this. Like I said, I didn't get a chance. I'm kind of playing catch-up right now. I didn't get a chance. Shout out to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Y'all had a great season leading into a great postseason. You swept Phoenix Suns team led by Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. Then you turn around and take and beat the defending champs, take them to 7 games, come back from a 20-point deficit to beat them and send them home. And you just lost in the Western Conference Finals to a Dallas team we're going to talk about this in the next segment, but I'm going to speak on it, but with two of the greatest scores, shooting guard, point guard duo in NBA history. So shout out to the Timberwolves. Y'all got nothing to hang y'all hats on. Y'all had a great season, and y'all got a young superstar. And I think if y'all bring that team back next year, y'all can definitely be looking towards making another push towards that finals. So I just wanted to give a huge shout out to y'all. And moving on, so this is the next. So we're gonna move on from that game. Like I said, I was just kind of playing catch up to let y'all know what was going on in that series and everything. This was something I'm gonna bring. I had a conversation with a couple of my friends and a couple of my associates, and I said, you know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring it to the pod. Also, I heard Reggie Miller and Van Gundy talking about it. And I kind of had to look at it, and honestly, I agree with him. But I took it to around my friends and around a couple of my associates, and we had a discussion. And some of them agreed, some of them didn't, but a lot of them didn't more than they did. So I wanted to bring it to y'all. So what I want y'all to do is, whether it's the comment section or on YouTube or whatever, I want y'all to give y'all opinion. So this is my question, and Reggie Miller and Van Gundy brought it up, and I agree with them. They said that Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic is the best backcourt, is the best scoring backcourt in NBA history, and I agree with that. And before, people say, "Oh well, you got the old heads. Oh well, you had this person, this person." Listen, I'm talking about. You got to listen to the words when I say them. Scoring. When you're talking about scoring, when you're talking about putting the ball in the basket, there is no duo in NBA history that is better than Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. Yes, I understand they got to win a championship, but we're just talking about scoring the basketball. So I put my list down of the NBA duos that I knew, and I'm gonna be honest, some of these are a little before my time, so I really can't speak too deep into it. But let's just look at the list. You got the only ones that I put. Hold on, let's just name the list. You got Stephen Clay, you got Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumas, you got Magic Johnson and Byron Scott, you got Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, you got Kobe Bryant and Derek Fisher, you got Michael Jordan, Ron Harper, and Chris Paul and James Harden. Now, this is just the list that I thought about, and with a little bit of web browsing that I was able to put together. So we could start from the bottom and work our way up to the top. With Chris Paul and James Harden, what James Harden did in Houston was phenomenal. I think that was the best version of James Harden that you got throughout his whole career. Everybody know James Harden was an MVP in Houston. We know how good he was. Made it to the Western Conference Finals a couple times and was on the brink of actually making the finals if they didn't run into them Golden State teams. The only reason I'm gonna put Luka and Kyrie above them is because now you have James Harden with the scoring, but which one of those two can Chris Paul score better than? Chris Paul is known for facilitating. Is Chris Paul capable of scoring? Yeah, but when you think of Chris Paul, you think of a true point guard, which got him the name, the point guard. You think of assists, putting his team in position, setting guys up for buckets. You don't think of him as a bucket getter. Once again, follow me. I'm saying best scoring duo. You don't think of him as a bucket getter. He can't score better than Kyrie or Luka. So I'm putting Kyrie and Luka above them. Michael Jordan and Ron Harper. Again, Ron Harper was more known for the defensive end and also setting his guys up, assists and stuff like that. Jordan was an assassin as far as scoring. But once again, Ron Harper was not known, from my knowledge, as being a scorer. He was more so defensive end and also facilitating and setting guys up. So no, Kyrie and Luka get that one. Kobe and Derek Fisher. Now, if we talking about the first go around with young Kobe and Derek Fisher, it's not even close, because Kobe wasn't scoring on a historic clip around the time when it was young Kobe. Derek Fisher was shocking on him. Shaq was the best player on that team. And if, like I said, the comment section is open. If anybody disagree with that, then you know what I'm saying, put your thoughts in the comments. But around that time, Kobe wasn't the guy. Now, if you want to talk about when Derek Fisher came back to the Lakers and they teamed up, Kobe was more so Kobe was the guy on the team then. But still, who does Derek Fisher score better than? Does he score better than Luka? Absolutely not. Does he score better than Kyrie? Absolutely not. So I'm giving the edge to Kyrie and Luka on that one. Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. Tony Parker wasn't known as a scorer. Could he score? Yes, but Tony Parker was more so known facilitator, setting the team up, getting in the mid-range. He could hit threes here occasionally. And Manu Ginobili came off the bench. He wasn't a starter. So that one right there, that's not even close if we talk about scoring. I'm going Kyrie and Luka. Then you got Magic Johnson, Byron Scott. Magic, like I said, some of these are before my time, so I don't really know. I'm going to be honest. I know about Byron Scott a little bit, but not too much. But I know Magic Johnson wasn't known as no scorer. Magic Johnson was known for facilitating, setting the offense up. He wasn't known as a scorer. So how can you put them over Luka and Kyrie as far as scoring? You got Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, like I said, day before my time, but I know I ain't hear nothing about them when it come to scoring. Everything you hear about the Pistons back then was based on what they was doing on defense. Could Isaiah Thomas score? Absolutely. But the Pistons around that time, all I know is they was known for defense. Now this is the one right here. You kind of got an argument, but the reason why I would give the edge to Luka and Kyrie is because, let me 1 second, and this is Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Now, we all know what they did on that run was phenomenal. The shooting, to me, this is the best. As far as shooting, this is the best shooting backcourt. You got Steph Curry, who to me is the best 3-point shooter of all time, and then you got Klay, who he'll be in that. He is going to end up in that discussion too. But as far as scoring the basketball, which is all three levels, getting to the bucket, mid-range, and three, I'm going with Luka and Kyrie because Klay Thompson, when you think of Klay Thompson, you think of being able to shoot the three. You don't think of Klay Thompson putting the ball on the ground. Not saying that he couldn't, but you don't think of Klay Thompson of being able to put the ball on the ground, putting the ball on the floor, go to the cup, attack. Klay Thompson's not scaring anybody going to the cup. Your game plan when you playing against Golden State is try your best to not let him get off from three. Run him off. You're trying to run Klay Thompson off the 3-point line. You're not trying to sit there and allow him to shoot. When you think about Kyrie and Luka, they can literally score from all three levels on the floor. You know what I'm saying? That's just what they do. Like I said, with Steph, we all know his shooting capability, the greatest shooter of all time. I feel like nobody can debate that. But like I said, when you think of those two, your goal is to try to run them off the 3-point line. If you run Kyrie or Luka off the 3-point line, they still can find a way to beat you and get their buckets. Mid-range, getting to the cup, we all know what Kyrie do around the basket. Luka, he going to hit you with that slow step back, knock it down. That's just what they do. That's why I'm saying. I'm not saying that they are the greatest backcourt of all time because, of course, they got to win a championship. But when you single-handedly want to just talk about scoring the basketball, I feel like there's no argument to that. I feel like there's no duo that you can think of that can score the basketball at the same clip as what they have in Dallas. There's no way in the world. I feel, but like I said, that's my opinion. I want y'all, I want y'all to be able to, you know what I'm saying, leave y'all thoughts in the comments. Tell me what y'all think. Tell me if y'all think there's a better duo. I just went through all the ones that I looked up and I came up with. I want y'all to let me know in the comment section or wherever, however you see this. Do you think there's a better score? And listen to what I'm saying. Do you think there's a better scoring duo than Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic? I don't think so. But that's for y'all to let me know. And we'll go from there. Maybe we'll have this discussion a little bit down the line. Moving on. So we all know the NBA Finals is coming up. Starts June 6th, which is this Thursday. And I'm looking forward to the matchup. You got Boston versus Dallas. I think a lot of people automatically kind of had the idea that Boston would come out the East. People want to come up with all type of stuff, but we're going to get into that. Dallas, those trades and you know what I'm saying? Those trades and everything they did helped them. They in the finals. So what I'm going to talk about is the storylines heading into the finals. Because there's some storylines. There's some great storylines heading into the finals. The first storyline is that I'm looking into is Kyrie versus his old team and those Boston fans. And for Boston, that's scary because Kyrie is coming in. Kyrie is coming in there. Do you think Kyrie? It don't make no better sense than to be able to look. Listen to this. Kyrie being able to stop Boston from winning the championship. Do you know how happy that would make him? And I'm gonna be honest with you. Now I'm not gonna give my prediction quite yet, but I'm so I'm so happy for Kyrie, because all the stuff that these past couple of years that people been putting Kyrie through, they tried to diminish the man's character. They tried to, the vaccine situation, with the book situation. Nike did him. They took his shoes away from him, and just for Kyrie to go to get traded to Dallas, for Dallas to do everything possible to make it a good situation for Kyrie, and you see what you get. Kyrie was a huge part of Dallas being able to make it to the NBA Finals, and if he could finish this story off this year by stopping Boston from winning the championship, I mean, I don't know a better ending story than you could think of. And y'all Boston fans, don't act like y'all don't know what people talking about. You don't get me wrong. And Kyrie have did some stuff. We all know how it started with him promising to stay. I think it was like a summer game or something where he got on the mic and promised to stay in Boston, and he didn't stay. Shit happens. You know what I'm saying? He didn't stay, and stuff went on while he was there. But you got to think, this was around the time when Kyrie left Cleveland, and he wanted to be the guy. He wanted to be the guy, and he wanted to get from under LeBron. He felt like he could carry his own team. Probably immature, and then he's going with a bunch of guys. You had a young Jason Tatum at the time. You had a young Jaylen Brown at the time. And just a young team. So for Kyrie, him going in there, he probably went about things the wrong way. But at the end of the day, that doesn't give people the right to, every time he goes to Boston, you got a situation where, yes, he stepped on the logo, okay, but the situation where people talking to him crazy, he had to put his middle finger up at the crowd one time. It's just a big thing. But I know that the fans gonna be ramped up. They don't want Kyrie to win, and I'm betting he ain't gonna say it, and they gonna try to spin it to make Kyrie would like nothing more but to stop Boston from winning the championship and satisfying those fans. So that's a storyline that we looking into. The second storyline I put down is you got Porzingis versus his old team, and what impact will he make? We all know Porzingis. I believe after he left the Knicks, he went to Dallas, and him and Luka teamed up, and everybody thought, oh yeah, you got both those guys, they could make a run at a championship. It didn't quite work out. We all know Porzingis' injury history, and they ended up, I think they ended up shipping Porzingis out, and he ended up going to Washington. But my main question for that is, we all know Porzingis has been out. I believe dealing with a hand. It was either it might have been a calf strain. I think it's something, a leg injury. He's been out since the first round of the playoffs when they went against Miami. He hasn't played since. The Boston handled business without him. I mean, a lot of people like to say Boston, however way they got there, dealing with injured teams or bad whatever. Long story short, Boston handled business without him. They're saying he'll be on track to play game one. I think Porzingis makes a huge difference. We all know what I talked about, stating just because he's able to do so many different things for them as far as stretching the floor and, just being that big presence, and also his scoring ability. I believe he's going to have a huge impact. But the question is, do you bring him on slow? This is the NBA Finals. Do you bring him on slowly? Do you think about bringing him off the bench since Al Horford has been playing good, and replacing him? It's a lot of question marks going into that, but I'm looking forward to see what's going on with that situation. Third one I got is Luka Doncic versus Jason Tatum. And to some people, that may be a surprise. But there's been comparisons about who would you rather have, Luka or Jason Tatum. Now both of them get the chance to end that conversation. People got their question marks about Jason Tatum. Is he a superstar? Is he the main guy? Can he show up when it's time? And we all know what Luka represents. We all know how good Luka is. We just seen what he did to send Minnesota home. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I'm saying? That's a question going into who gets the better of each other in this finals matchup. Is it Luka or is it Jason Tatum? We got to find out. Last but not least. Now listen, I'm talking about who's the best backcourt between these two. Now, you heard the last segment when I said greatest scoring backcourt of all time. I still believe that. But Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown got a chance to say, nah, hold up. We the best backcourt in the NBA. So currently in the NBA. My last one not least storyline is best backcourt. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving. We know how good that Jaylen Brown dominated. He looked very good in that Pacers and Indiana series. That's why he ended up winning, I think, Eastern Conference Finals MVP. So now they got a chance. They got a chance to duel it out. I'm so looking forward to this matchup. I like both. If I had to pick, I'm going best backcourt, Luka and Kyrie. But Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum got a chance to shut everybody up and show, nah, we the best backcourt in the NBA right now. So I'm looking forward to the matchup. It's going to be a great matchup, and I can't wait. Thursday can't get here fast enough. Now after the storylines, I want to give my finals prediction before I get into getting other topics. And my finals prediction, I thought about this. I'm gonna go with Boston. The reason I'm gonna go with Boston is because Boston has been knocking at the door year and year since Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown was rookies when they took Cleveland to game 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals. They've been knocking at the door and inching closer and closer and closer. They lost to Golden State in the finals about 2 years ago. I think 2 years ago, not last year, but the year before, they lost to Golden State in the finals. I'm going to tell you this right now, and I'm sticking to this. If Boston can't win this year, they won't win a championship at all. This is the best team to me right now. This is the best team that they could have possibly put together to win a championship. If they can't win this year, they won't win. They won't win. Point blank period in the discussion. I like Dallas. Like I said, I said I would like for Kyrie to get a championship, being as though what he's been through the last couple of years. I like Luka, but I got Dallas, and I got Boston. And the reason why I got Boston is because I just feel like this matchup is better for Boston than it was for the Timberwolves, being as though you have Drew Holiday, you have Derek White. I don't know what they're going to do with Porzingis, but you have Brown. And as far as defensively, you got you can go ahead and throw Drew Holiday on Kyrie, or maybe you might, because Drew Holiday has strength. So you can go ahead and start Drew Holiday on Luka Doncic. You got Derek White. You can put him on Kyrie, or you can switch it up. You got Jaylen Brown who could play Luka and start Drew Holiday on Kyrie. It's ways, and just their capability of switching, I believe that benefits Boston with their length and everything of that nature. I just feel like when a game like this is going to come down to the role players. Like P.J. Washington is going to have another good series. You're going to have to depend on can Lively give you another good series? Gaffer has been very good. Can he give you another good series? It's going to come down to guys like Hardy. It's going to come down to those type of guys. I just feel like with Boston, you have guys like Al Horford, who's a veteran. You have guys like Peyton Pritchard, who has been great coming off the bench for Boston all year. I'm just giving the edge to Boston on this one. I just really feel like now I'm hoping we can maybe get 6 or 7 games out of this series, but I'm taking Boston. I know a lot of people are looking at Boston like, when the first series you played the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler was out with Boston. I feel like Boston would have beat them regardless. Then in the second round, they played a Cleveland Cavaliers team. Darius Garland didn't have a good series. Donovan Mitchell got injured, didn't end up playing, I think, the back half of the series. I feel like Boston would have beat them regardless. And then you have then they played the Pacers. They swept them in the Eastern Conference Finals. A lot of people felt like the Pacers shouldn't have been there. Tyrese Halliburton got hurt. Pacers had the lead in the fourth quarter. I think like 3 or 4 out of three of the 4 games, or probably all 4 games. It doesn't matter. All year, Boston has been the best team in the NBA. And in the regular season, they played teams healthy, and they still was beating them. I think with Porzingis coming back, that is huge. Like I said, Porzingis is one of those guys. He could stretch the floor, hit the mid range. He also is capable of blocking shots. He can go to the free throw line, hit his free throws. Good 3-point shooter. He can do everything. I feel like them getting now. If Porzingis wasn't coming back, then I maybe would have leaned towards Dallas a little bit, maybe in 7. But I'm going with Boston, and that's no grudge to Dallas. I think Dallas is a great team. Dallas is a great team. Those trades, and I want to give a shout out to the GM of Dallas, Nico Harrison. Those trades for Gafford and PJ Washington in the middle of the season to help this team. I've been knew about Gafford. Like I said, he played for the Washington. He played for the Wizards, and I liked him for a long time. I said if this guy can just get out of Washington, I think he's very solid. Sir, you just see traits, and I seen it from him. I actually wanted my sons to get him, but he ended up going to Dallas, and he helped them get to the finals. PJ Washington was phenomenal in this last series, hitting those open threes as far as on the defensive end. But I'm gonna go with Boston. Boston has been the best team in the league all year, and I feel like they've been right here for the past couple of years, and this is the year. Like I said, if they don't win this year, they not winning. I don't see them winning the championship. That's just me. So I'm going with Boston. I'm going to say 6 games, but I'm hoping we can get 7 games. But I'm going to say Boston in 6. They win the NBA championship. Moving on from there. Now we're going to switch to a little bit of football real quick. Like I told y'all, Dallas Cowboys, that's my team. I bleed silver and blue. They got them. They pissed me off last year, and I said all year I was boycotting them and I wasn't watching them, but I'm gonna still check them out. But when it comes to the quarterback, I wanna defend the quarterback a little bit. So check this out. Yesterday it was a clip I seen on YouTube. I haven't actually watched the episode yet, but it was a clip on YouTube. Not YouTube, I'm sorry. It was a clip on Instagram from the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast with Gilly and Wallow. Shout out to them boys. Shout out to them. I love what they doing over there. They actually a huge inspiration to me of why I started a podcast. So shout out to Gilly and Wallow. It looks like on their next episode, the episode is probably out already. I'm not sure. I got to check. But they had CJ Stroud and they had Tank Dell on their podcast. And on the podcast, I'm guessing they asked CJ Stroud to name his top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL or the top 5 quarterbacks from last season. So I'm going off the top of my head, and it sounds like when the clip is playing, he says, Hold on. Let me switch. He switches it up, and I guess he starts going on he starts naming off his list from quarterbacks last season, and the quarterbacks he said was Patrick Mahomes, Lamar, himself, Dak Prescott, and he put Jalen Hurts. So Gilly, they Philly guys, so they Eagles fans. Gilly, oh my God, out of everybody, why you put Dak? Tank Dell said he would have put Joe Burrow, but they said Joe Burrow, but like CJ Stroud said, Joe Burrow didn't play last year. And he said, I'm going off of last year. Why don't y'all like Dak? He called Dak one of the most accurate passes. He said Dak was like, Gilly a Philly fan, so he never going to want to give Dallas no credit. So I understand. I give Gilly a pass on that because he a Philly guy. But one thing that I like to do, so Gilly was saying, oh, could you find somebody else or woody whoop? So one thing that I like to do when I'm on Instagram, when I watch a video, I like to scroll through the comment section. Just to see what the comments say. And I don't know. It's a weird thing to me. I don't know if hating on Dak is like a trendy thing or because he played for the Cowboys or whatever the case may be. And you even get it from Cowboy fans. I follow a lot of Cowboy fans, fan pages and all types of stuff, and they like to hate on Dak. So I'm gonna defend Dak because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm a Dak fan. And this is the question. And to any of my fellow Cowboy fans, what I want y'all to do is this, because I ask this all the time. If y'all feel like the answer is replacing Dak, my question to y'all is, who you gonna replace him with? I know we got Trey Lance on the bench, but let's be honest, Trey Lance not proven. And when Trey Lance did finally get a chance to start, he got injured. He got injured and didn't play the rest of that season. And now look what Brock Purdy is doing. Trey Lance got beat out last year for Sam Darnold for the second string quarterback position, which is the reason why he's in Dallas. So don't get me wrong, I would love to see what Trey Lance can do, but I'm not gonna or just say, oh yeah, replace Dak with Trey Lance and let's see what happens there. No, we're not doing that. So what I did was I said, okay, because I seen people in the comments, this player is better than Dak. Trevor Lawrence is better than Dak, and Dak can't do this in the playoffs. So let me ask you this question. So let me ask you this: does this? I want to run down some stuff, and I want to find out since everybody like to act like Dak is just so middle of the pack and this and that. Last time I checked, Dak was the runner-up for MVP last year behind Lamar Jackson. To me, he should have won, but we understand Lamar and them went to San Francisco. They beat they punished San Francisco, and Baltimore had a great year last year. Don't get me wrong, but statistically, Dak did everything better than Lamar, probably besides running. If we going off of that, so let's run since Stroud, and I respect CJ Stroud for not joining that. You know, Dak is because CJ Stroud knows ball. But let's go off of last year's stats. Dak threw for 4,516 yards, 36 touchdowns with 9 interceptions. That sound like trash to you? Those are excellent numbers. Now I know everybody, but what did he do? But what did he do in the playoffs? They lost in the first round. Is it Dak's fault that Green Bay was marching right down the field, went right down the field on the first drive and scored and put him behind the 8 ball already before he had a chance to even get on the field? Is it Dak's fault that tight ends was running wide open in the secondary? Is it okay? Yeah, they got the ball. Yeah, Dak threw two interceptions. Granted, I give you that. I'm not on here to say that Dak is the best quarterback in the NFL, but for people to act like Dak is just complete garbage, that's utterly ridiculous. That's utterly ridiculous. Do you know how many teams would love to have a quarterback like Dak Prescott? And like I said, I think it just comes off the simple fact because he's the quarterback for the Cowboys. But, I mean, numbers don't lie. Look at 2021. He gave you 4,000 yards, 449 yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Mind you, that's coming off of his legs snapping in half on national TV the year 2020, which was the year it was no fans in the stands. So this is after coming off of a injury that could have ended his career. This is what we're talking about. Look at his 2019 season: 4,000 yards, 4,902 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. So you see that anytime he was completely healthy and he had weapons out there, you see the numbers he putting up. But people want to go off of the year before last when he threw 15 interceptions. Okay, granted, I give you that. He threw 15 interceptions, but how many other quarterbacks have thrown close? But you don't hear when other quarterbacks lead the league in interceptions, when they out there, when Josh Allen out there throwing picks, you don't hear none of that. You hear how good he is, or his mobile ability, or what he been. You don't never hear them get the criticism that Dak get. Never. Dak's worst statistical season was the 2020 season, basically when he broke his leg. I believe that's his worst statistical season since 2016. So come on, we gotta stop this. This not for Gilly. This not for Gilly, because like I said, I respect him. He's a Philly guy. He don't like nothing Dallas, but it's this right here is for them people that like to talk, them couch coaches and GMs that like to talk in the comments. If you got a guy like CJ Stroud who had one of the greatest rookie quarterback years ever, they are loaded. They could possibly be in the Super Bowl this year coming up. You have him telling you that Dak Prescott is one of the best quarterbacks, but you got guys in the comments saying, "Oh, well, no, Dak he this or he ain't good." Okay, but real quick, because y'all like to like to talk about playoff success, right? Now, granted, Dak is 2-5 in the playoffs. I give you that. You know who else? But guess what? Lamar is 2-4 in the playoffs. I don't hear Lamar getting the same criticism that Dak get. And guess what? Last year was Lamar's second time being the number 1 seed, and when they stepped on the field, they got No, I'm sorry. The first time they was the number 1 seed, they lost to Tennessee in the divisional round. This time they won in the divisional round and lost to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. But that's not the point. You the number 1 seed, and you don't make the Super Bowl. So why Lamar don't get the same criticism that Dak get? Why? Justin Herbert is on 1 in the playoffs, but everybody wants to, and this is no shot at the quarterback. Like I said, this is for the people in the comments because I love these quarterbacks, but I just want to understand because now you see Cheeze got a platform, so now I could talk my shit a little bit. But Justin Herbert is on 1 in the playoffs. Justin Herbert, such this generational talent. I hear everybody hooping and hollering about Justin Herbert. He been to the playoffs and lost 1 time. And let me ask you, and I believe in that playoff game against Jacksonville, they was up double digits, and Jacksonville came back and ended up winning that game. Justin Herbert had a chance to get on the field and extend that lead. What happened? But once again, we want to just keep talking about what Dak not doing, and that's why it's funny to me. Now Josh Allen is 5-5, but I'm gonna give Josh Allen a small pass, and the only reason is because Patrick Mahomes is 9 times out of 10. If you wanna get over that mountain, you got to play Patrick Mahomes. So and a couple of them losses are to Patrick Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, like I said, I'm just trying to figure out where the Dak hate comes from. Keep that same energy with Dak like y'all do with all the other quarterbacks. That's all I'm asking. Because at the end of the day, Dak is putting up, when he's healthy and when he has guys out there, Dak is putting up amazing numbers. Numbers don't lie. Just look up the numbers. He should have won MVP last year. But look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie. So how can people sit in there and say Dak isn't currently now? If you don't want to say, you could say top 10 quarterback. I mean, you got guys like Joe Burrow who didn't play last year. Okay, would I say Joe Burrow is better than Dak? I would probably say Joe Burrow. I would take Joe Burrow over Dak. Would I say right now I would take C.J. Stroud over Dak? Probably. I got to see what he do this year. But right now I would say, yeah, I would probably take C.J. Stroud over Dak. But it's no way in the world anybody to me can argue and say Dak Prescott isn't currently a top 10 quarterback in this league, and that's without question. That's without question. There's no way. And honestly, he could arguably be from that 5 through 7 range. You know what I'm saying? But we'll say top 10. But come on now, y'all. We got to keep the same energy. That's all I'm asking. That's what I'm here on this platform, on this show to do. We got to keep the same energy. You can't give other guys passes, but then want to hold Dak accountable for. Nah, it ain't working like that. So Dak, if you see this, I'm defending you, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, because I curse your ass out sometimes too. But I'm gonna defend you, because I ain't gonna let them do that to you know what I'm saying. To my man, to my quarterback currently. I don't know, they going through some type of get that contract situated, but I'm riding with Dak. Like I said, people make it seem like he terrible or something. You know how many it's plenty of teams out here who will take a Dak Prescott on their team right now, and you got a lot of fans saying that they wouldn't. They lying. They'll take Dak Prescott right now if Dallas was to say if he was to hit free agency. So come on, let's stop doing that. I'm defending you, Dak. We moving on now. Last but not least, I wanted to speak on it, and I wanted to make this last. We're going to go back to basketball, but we're going to speak on the WNBA. This right now is a topic that's been going on that I wanted to talk about. So yesterday, you had the Chicago Sky versus the Indiana Fever. You had Caitlin Clark. Everybody was looking forward to the game. You had Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. We all know their history in college. My girl from South Carolina, the center, made her debut back yesterday. So everybody was looking forward to and I'm sorry I can't think of your name right now at the top of my head, but y'all know who I'm talking about. The center from South Carolina. She was the pick before Angel. I'm sorry. Cardoza. That's her name. Her last name is Cardoza. She made her debut. She's been injured since the beginning of the season. She finally made her debut yesterday. It was a highly anticipated game, and it lived up to the hype. 70-71. Fever ended up beating Chicago. But the topic that everybody's talking about, and I wanted to speak on yesterday, that happened yesterday, was Kennedy Clark shoving Caitlin Clark in the back during an inbound, unprovoked. She just basically, with some words exchanged. She was saying to Caitlin and hit her in the back and knocked her over. She was, and then in the press conference, she said that she didn't want to answer any questions about Caitlin and so on and so forth. If you've seen it or been looking in the sports world, you know what's going on. And I wanted to speak on it because I just really wanted to say, like, come on, y'all. Like, we gotta do better. I understand right now, she's getting the hype, and you got everywhere you turn, they talking about her. And you had what LeBron said about her on the him and JJ Redick's podcast, and then you got Charles Barkley coming out and telling the girls to stop being petty. But I'm gonna be honest, Kennedy Clark, what she did yesterday was petty. And my whole thing is this: I'm not saying don't be competitive, because that's what y'all supposed to do. Be competitive. But at the same time, when you got stuff like that going on, like, come on now, that's not basketball. That right there, that to me came off as jealousy or just somebody not liking another individual. We on a basketball court. Regardless of what you think about her, she's bringing attention to the WNBA. I'm gonna be honest, and I'm one of the people, and I don't feel bad for saying it. You know what I'm saying? I'm now getting in tune to the WNBA because of Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. That's what made me get into the WNBA. You have a lot of people that's following the WNBA now because of these two girls. And I feel like with the older ones, or the guy or the people that's been there, the women that's been there, I feel like it's a lot of it's jealousy and stuff going on from it. And I feel like now it's to the point it's getting out of hand. You got people in the comment section saying they trying to make it a race thing and all that. It's just getting to the point. It's basketball, y'all. It's basketball. These girls is going out here and they playing basketball. It shouldn't get to a point where people taking cheap shots and all this. Caitlin having to come up there and saying, she getting hammered every day. Is clips of somebody knocking her up. It's just getting to the point where it's screaming like, what do y'all want? Yep, all these years coming up, y'all been complaining about the WNBA not getting the attention it deserves, the salaries not matching up to what they getting in the NBA, to, all this unfairness going on. But then y'all finally get people that's pushing the league forward, and you gotta see stuff like that. The same thing happened with Angel Reese a couple of games ago. I can't remember who they was playing, but the girl, damn, they grabbed her out the air by the neck, slammed her on like, come on, y'all. Like what are we doing? Do y'all want the WNBA to get the attention, or don't y'all? You can't be mad because somebody coming and bringing and players coming from college is bringing attention to y'all league. That's better for y'all. And I feel like some vets, y'all should come out and I'm not, and once again I'm going to repeat it, I'm not saying that not to compete. Play your ass off. We already know it's other people in the WNBA can hoop. Now y'all have the chance to show that. But when you out there taking cheap shots and doing all that stuff, and it's like what Charles Barkley said, it's petty. And whether people agree with me or not, it's petty. Caitlin Clark haven't came out not one time and said anything negative about any other players. She haven't came out and did any of that. Y'all are upset with her because of the attention that the media is giving her, or the attention that Angel Reese is getting from the media. That's not their fault. They did a hell of a job in college, and now it's carrying over to the WNBA. People want to see these girls play. But now y'all have the opportunity to say, well, hold on, look at me, or this what I can do, and bring way more. The goal is for the WNBA to get the attention and get everything that it's been deserving for years. That's all I'm saying. I like girls like Asia Wilson. You got the girl I spoke on her on the other podcast in New York. I think her name Breanna Stewart. It's hoopers in the WNBA, and now that I'm actually really paying attention, I'm starting to see that. You know what I'm saying? But we got to cut the pettiness. We got to cut the pettiness out. We got to cut the trying to hurt players and all that, because all that's doing is it's screaming from my point of view, it's screaming jealousy. It's screaming that y'all don't like the fact that these young girls coming in here and actually making a difference for something that y'all been trying to do, and they coming in here and doing it. Just go along for the ride, do your thing, and bring our attention to you. So, you know what I'm saying? The league, it benefits the league at the end of the day. It's not just about you. It's about building the league. So that's my take on it. I seen a whole bunch of people have their takes on it. I know a lot of people, and some people might not agree with me, and that's fine. But that's what I'm here for, just to state my opinion and my point of view. But put down in the comment section if you feel like I'm wrong, if you feel like, if you differ from my opinion, that's fine. But that's all I wanted to speak on. I'm gonna go ahead and end it right here. Once again, Chatting with Cheeze podcast. Do not forget to like and share the content. Also, do not forget to follow me on the socials, the social media accounts. They will be at the beginning. They should be at the beginning of the video, and they're gonna be attached to the video as well. Y'all already know. No gimmicks, only the real. I'm out.